Today, we are really in our last unit, but it's a jumbo unit because you're going to be writing a timed write on the help, and you are going to be writing your research paper. And so you're going to be reading the novel concurrently as you are writing your research paper. But the novel is about writing and writing's power. And you're going to be looking at writing and the power of writing at the same time. So they really go well together. And then at the end, you'll do a timed write on the help, and you will turn in your research paper. And I really like both the things that we're doing. That I actually created this social media literature circle activity for my face-to-face class. And then I decided, no, I want to do this for my online classes. So on Monday, I really literally woke up Monday morning saying I'm going to change my plans. So I got to work, and then all my spare time was changing this. So this is the first time we're doing it, and I'm sure there's going to be some issues, and I'm going to be asking for feedback at the end of how I can improve it, because I want to make sure that it is as good as it can be. If you have suggestions in the middle that I can easily move over, then I will. I also may be presenting about this at a conference in February, and if I do, I'm going to be asking if I could use some of your work with samples, and if I do that and you're okay with it, I will give you extra credit. So I wanted to start by talking about the social media literature circles for the help, and then I wanted to talk about the research paper, and then answer any questions that you might have. Okay, so I'm going to move us over so I can see my screen a little bit better. Maybe I'll move us over here. All right, I'm going to make us smaller for a little bit. Okay. So the goals is that you're going to be participating in several active asynchronous discussions, which means that you're not coming to class and discussing it. We are going to have a Zoom meeting dedicated to sharing some of your work, but it's not going to be a regular discussion. And so it's asynchronous in the fact that you're going to be sharing your work on our assigned novel in a discussion forum, which I have open right here. And you're going to do this, and I may change a little bit here where I might invite you to share some video commentary about your work. We'll see. That's a maybe. It wouldn't be a have to, it would just be a suggestion. So what's going to happen is you are going to take responsibility for preparing for the discussion forum sessions and helping to construct and shape the conversation. And so all the activities that you've done so far will help you with this. And so I want to let you know, I had a student ask me about the linking, and I really like this Google site, but it's hard to tell what's a link. So everything that is underlined is a link. So the reading schedule and roles is an underline, so that's a link, and I'm going to open that up in a minute. And then all the roles here are links. They're all underlined. And then I have a Padlet that's a link here. I have these one-hit wonders that are links that you're going to do at the end. You're going to put it together, and then there's going to be a reflection. And then I'm going to have you give the book an overall rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I created a little questionnaire there. So what's going to happen is that you're going to read the instruction for the roles you were taking for a particular set of chapters, and you need to see the reading schedule and roles to know which roles you will take and when, and I'll show you that in a minute. You're going to read and annotate the assigned chapters of the help. You're going to complete your roles. You're going to include your work in this social media literature circles discussion forum, which is this, and you'll have one for each set of chapters. And the roles that you're doing, I want to emphasize, you're doing the roles for the set of chapters. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here. There we go. For the set of chapters, not just for every single chapter. That would be way, way too much work. And then you're going to look at the work that others are completing, and you're going to ask these questions. When you're seeing, how did you come to this understanding? Have you considered this instead? And you come up with something. And what else could we consider? And these questions are here to kind of help you guide the discussion. You can ask other questions if you want as well, but these are the ones you should focus on. And then you're going to respond to those peers who've asked you questions and repeat this process for each set of chapters. Okay? I will tell you that The Help is a very easy book to read. It is the easiest text that you will read for the semester. However, it has a lot of depth. It has a lot of things to consider. It is long, but it's very quick to get through, but I don't want you to miss out on the nuances. And that's what these roles here are going to help you. They're going to help you really tease out all the aspects of the novel. So I want to take a moment here to open up the reading roles, schedule and roles. And the schedule is based on the calendar. There's nothing new with that. What is new is what you're going to do. So you are going to go to File, and you're going to make a copy so you have this, because every single time you are going to have your own sheet here where you need to write down what role you're assigned. So if your last name begins with something, you're going to do something, and everybody's going to do 2 roles at each time. Okay? And they're going to change. Sometimes you're going to repeat these roles. There's going to be a couple of roles that you repeat, but you're going to have these different roles that you're going to do. There we go. I'm going to stop here for 1 minute and see if you have any questions so far about what I'm telling you. All right. So the description of roles, all of these are pretty straightforward, okay? I will go through them fairly quickly, but you see that this is here. Some of these you're going to want to go to File and make your own copy. I want to remind you that whenever you go to File and make your own copy, you need to also go to Share and make sure that sorry, this is slow. It's always slow on Zoom, much slower than your own computer is. But make sure you share, that you go to Advanced, and that anyone with the link can view. Now mine already says that, but if you had to change it, it says anyone with the link can edit, can comment, can view, or you could decide that it's off, that it's private, okay? All right, so you're gonna wanna do that with with some of these here. So the Snapchat Literary Luminary is going to choose, for every chapter, choose 1 key quotation and you should choose something based on something that really stands out, something that's interesting, powerful, confusing. And then you're going to use the following codes, because you want to be able to do different things with each quotation. So you're practicing different aspects. So you have a quotation here, and then you have an interpretation here. You have one here, and an interpretation here, and so on and so forth, okay? You're going to end up having a couple more. In fact, I'm going to add this right now. Every class does thing. I'm going to insert a row below, and then I'm going to insert 1 more row below so that you have enough for the 6 chapters. Okay. All right. Any questions about this? This is fairly straightforward, but all right. Then we have our BuzzFeed article scribe. Oh, Veronica, you don't need to raise your hand. You can talk.
Okay. Sorry. I'm
No,
still
don't
trying
be
to figure out
sorry.
how to use Zoom. I just for a quick question for the Snapchat
Yes.
one. It says one quote. So for the one quote, I'm supposed to do the 4 different codes, or it's a different quote for each code?
Yes, that's an excellent question. It's a different quotation for each chapter and a different code for each quotation. So I'm not asking you to do, you could do technically, you could analyze and question a quotation if you want to, but I'm not expecting you to. So for every quotation, you're going to choose a different code. So maybe you're evaluating a quotation, maybe you're clarifying, maybe you're analyzing, maybe you're synthesizing. But that is a good question, because when we're looking at things academically, we could do more than one. Maybe we partially analyze, but we still have a question. And if you want to do both, you can put them both in there, but you are not required to.
Okay. Thank you.
Great question. That's an excellent question. Thank you for asking it.
No problem.
All right, let's see. I think this is still okay. The BuzzFeed article scribe is now remember, you're reading your set of chapters. So you are going to focus on the 5 events from the section, top 5 events from the section that you've read. And you have to decide what those are. I mean, and it could be that Veronica, you're doing 5, and then Ruby does 5, and Alexandra does 5. Maybe you're both all doing the same role, okay? But each of your 5 may be different, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I don't want you to get nervous about, oh my gosh, so-and-so chose this and I didn't choose that. I don't want you to focus on that. I want you to just focus in on, as you've read these set of chapters, if you had to choose the top 5 events that occurred, what would they be? And so you're going to give each event a catchy title, and then you are going to give 1 to 3 sentences explaining why it's a top event. And you need to make sure you're using evidence to support your response. So evidence, and I'll put in the form of specific details and or quotations. All right. Any question about this? All right.
I'm sorry, I had a quick question. I'm trying to catch what I can. Where it says, like, for the roles you are taking, where do we find that?
It is located, if it's located in Canvas, both in the module and the discussion forum. And so I'm on the discussion forum right now. There it says social media literacy circle instructions. You could click to it directly from the discussion forum. There is also a specific link in Canvas in the modules under the Friday notation. So for today, technically. But you also, this week, you can turn things in a day late. So it's not that big of a deal. But yes, it's located there. And it'll look like this. If you can't see it, you can see it in the video, but it'll say social media literature circles, and it will have all the instructions that I'm talking about right there. So it will always be in the discussion forum, and it will always be located in our very first week of this unit.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. All right, so I'm going to go to, I don't know, Google it Guru. And this is where you are going to research any references in the reading that are not explained or that you know very little about. This particular text takes place during a specific time in a specific place with specific people that are different than what we know now. So you must research at least 2 topics, although it is encouraged to do as much as necessary. You should summarize what you found out, cite your sources, and explain why knowing this will help any reader understand the text better. And so I have this table here that you can copy and paste, or you can make a file. I am going to add something to this a little later on about finding outside sources that are valid and reliable. I don't have it there right this minute. I'm okay that it's not right there for that first set, but I am planning on adding it, and it will probably go right here. I have something that I've used for a different class, and I want to be able to copy and paste it there. So this is looking up outside sources about a couple of topics. What those are up to you. They can be very tiny little somethings, like in the book, Skeeter wears these huaraches, these specific shoes, and maybe you've never heard of that, or what, style, expected style of women in the 1960s South. You could look up anything that you want. It could be a law, it could be a word, it could be a person. There are real people in the help that are referred to, such as Medgar Evers and Martin Luther King. And so you can research whatever you would like. And, let's say you want to research Medgar Evers. That's a huge topic. It's a person, it's an activist's life. And so you may just choose to look him up and focus on one thing at one time, and maybe later on, if you get this role again, you can look up something else about him if you would like to. All right, any questions about this one? All right. The Instagram feed curator. You are going to create an Instagram feed for one of your key characters. Make sure to give him or her a username, a bio, and 6 of the most recent quote-unquote photos of their life that they took, including caption using the text to guide you. Please use the text to help provide insight into the character's personalities, values, beliefs, etc. Now, this is one that is extremely creative. So whatever you want to do for the recent photos, you can do. There is a film on the help. It is a fantastic film. If you've seen it before the class or whatnot, that's fine. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend you do not see the film until a month or 2 after the class has ended. Because just like films on any books, it is really, really difficult for a filmmaker to capture the entire essence of the book. They have to shape, revise, shorten what's going on in the plot, and so it will be confusing. One time I showed the film after we read the book, and everyone hated it. And I actually liked the film, but I understood why they hated it right after they read the book, because it just doesn't live up to the book. All of that is to say is that if you Google a character from the help and look up images, you will find several images that somebody has posted already. You can use those images if you want, but you could also find other images. Obviously, it doesn't have to be the real person, because this is not a real person. You are just doing some sort of representation. And it says the 6 most recent photos of their life. So it doesn't have to be a selfie, right? It can be other aspects of their life that you can include. So I don't want you to narrow this down to, oh my gosh, it has to be exactly this or that. I want you to open up your minds and challenge yourself to think about, what would this character take photos of and post, and maybe they are not somebody who would post on social media, so maybe what they post would be like quotations or other types of things that don't share too much about them because they are private people, okay? So, but it's meant to help us understand, give insight into the character's personality, values, beliefs. And if you go onto Instagram, whether you check out my Instagram feed or an Instagram feed of a friend of yours, and you just look at their feed at the last several posts that they've made, you get an idea of what they value, even if they don't recognize that it showcases that much there. So, any questions about this one? All right. Okay, group chat coordinator. This is also, well, I'm hoping that all of these are creative, but this one, you're going to choose one of the conflicts that is happening to in this particular set of chapters, big or small, and there are many all throughout the book. Imagine that the characters in your text are texting about their current conflict. What would they say? Who would be texting each other? And it could be that there are two characters texting about a third character that they're mad at, right? So you're going to create a conversation between two or more characters discussing the main events. Create it like a real group chat. You may use emojis if you want to. Then in the text, foreshadow what you think might happen next. Like, oh my gosh, tomorrow I wonder if so-and-so is going to do X, Y, Z, or whatever it is you want to do. And I'm going to add this here. You may want to use different highlight colors to differentiate between people's texts, such as yellow and blue. So, when you text and your color is one color and the other person's color is another color or not another color, that way you can differentiate. And you may also want to use indentation to showcase each person's comment. So for example, I'm going to take something out. Let's see. I'm going to do very simple. If you were to look at, you don't need to necessarily read it. It's just between me and my daughter. And you notice that one comment goes to the side, the other comment goes to the other side. There's some emojis there. My color is not green. My daughter's color is green. And so you take a look at it and you notice that you can tell the difference between what's going on there in the chat. And it's just same as up here, but I just, showing you on my phone. Any questions about this one?
Yes, just one quick question about the characters
Yes.
that are texting each other.
Yes.
It could be anyone.
It
doesn't matter. Like if in the book, for example, we have I just started reading it, so it's like, let's say Aibileen and Miss Leafold. In the book, they might not be on terms where you would think that they would text each other, but that would be okay for this exercise.
Yeah, you could do whatever you want. And you could even, if you wanted to, I'm going to open this up. You could even decide that maybe there's another friend. Like there's some characters that, maybe you don't know who are important people to them. So maybe, let's see, one character decides that they're going to chat with a character that would be at the church or at the job, or where the character may not even have a name and they're not in the story, but they would be there. So you could do that as well. Maybe You know what I'm saying? So it could be very minor characters conversing with major characters, or it could be two minor characters talking, or, you know, it could be two medium characters talking. You can do whatever you want, but it should be realistic. I would say that it should be realistic. If the person wouldn't really be texting this other person, then don't have them text. But, you know, like for example, Hilly, if you haven't started reading the book, or if you have, I could see her texting quite a few characters, quite a few rude types of things that maybe Skeeter wouldn't text the character, right, and say those things. So you have to consider the personality too, and whether they would text or they wouldn't text, and what they might say.
Okay.
Yeah. It's meant to
Thank
get
you.
you to think about this, about the book and writing in a different way, and to this is it forces your brain to really actually analyze and synthesize the text more than you think you're doing. That's really one of the goals. So you're thinking about it in a different way, and that's what's so cool. And if, you know, let's say you're the group chat coordinator and somebody else is, and you want to check and see what they chose, they might have chosen something so completely different, or maybe they chose the exact same characters as you and had a very different conversation. And so it gets you to be thinking about the book. It gets you to deepen your analysis of the text. That's what all of these things are trying to get you to do. Great. Another great question. Thank you.
No problem.
I appreciate it. The more questions, the better. Please don't hesitate to interrupt me. All right. So we're now at the hashtag trending connections synthesizer. All right, so for the section of the text that you read, create 2 hashtags that connect the reading to the real world, including one from the content you read from Rereading America. Okay, so just one of them, I want you to connect it back to something we've read already and explain that connection. And you need to use evidence from the text to support your answer. And then you can choose one that has nothing to do with anything we've read before. And so again, you're making these real world connections. And so this is called synthesis. You're taking 2 different things, you're bringing them together, and you're illustrating something new as a result of the connection. Okay? Questions about this one? All right. The iHeart Literary Playlist. This is a fun one. So you're going to create a playlist to go with the section that you have read. Your playlist should be at least 3 songs. For each song you choose, explain why you chose the song, using evidence from the text to support your choice. Link the song from YouTube, because I'm sure it should be easy to find it in YouTube. Link the song from YouTube here. Okay, so, and you can make it a live link. So let's say I have a title of a song. I'm just going to put Yellow from Coldplay, and I highlight it. I go up to this link. I go to link, and if you see right here, I would paste the link, and then it would, oh, it already has it, right? So I could put that there, just for example. Okay. So link the song, and the songs can be from any time you want. They can be songs from the 60s or 50s. They could be songs from now. They could be songs from 10 years ago. They could be children's songs. They could be any genre of song, whatever you want. I'm really looking forward to listening to what you choose and why. Any question about this? Alrighty. Making it through. All right, and then the last one is very specific to this book. Okay? So it's the Twitter hashtag writing wordsmith. Writing is mentioned many, many times in the help. When it's your time to take this role, locate any references made to writing, quote the passage, note the type of writing it is, state the purpose of the writing, determine the audience, create a hashtag for it, go onto Twitter and find a tweet that illustrates some similar aspect of the writing reference. Now, it could be about the genre or type of writing, or it could be about the content. So find a tweet that illustrates some similar aspect of the writing reference that was used in this pre-tech era, copy the tweet and any hashtags, and then briefly discuss the connection. Okay, so it may be that it's only mentioned one time, maybe it's mentioned 2 or 3 times. It's up, it just depends. Any question about this one? Okay, so these are the roles. You will have 2 roles for each section. And then afterwards, and I'm going to prompt you when to do this, so don't worry, but you are going to go to the Social Media Lit Circle Padlet, and you are going to showcase, you'll take a photo and upload it to your computer and put it in to the Padlet. You are going to showcase the best content you saw for that set, okay, and state why. But I will remind you about this. You don't need to do it until I say, hey, make sure you do it for this set of chapters. And the students who make it to this Social Media Literature Circle Padlet will earn some extra credit. So everybody has an opportunity to win. And let's say yours is just awesome and every student in the class says yours is the best, you're gonna get a lot of extra credit for it. So you're gonna make a total of 6 posts to this single Padlet, and then at the end of the unit, you're gonna note the dates that you did so. So just make sure you're keeping that handy. At the very end, you'll say, I posted here, 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 and here. And at the very end, we'll have a place where you vote for the best of the best, like theirs was good all the time. At the end, there's going to be a couple of other what I call one-hit wonders. And then when you put it together, you're going to include the reading schedule. You're going to include all the work from the roles for each set of chapter that you did, not everybody, but what you did, the one-hit wonders, and then the reflection that is below about talking about what you learned, how you felt, and then you're going to create a meme that highlights one of the main themes or ideas you learned from the text. All right? Any questions about this? Any more questions right now? Okay. So I want to talk to you. Then we're going to segue to the research paper. Oops, I linked out. Hold on. I'll go back to the modules.
And I do have a quick question.
Yes.
In the modules.
Yes.
The help graphic organizer H1. I don't know how to find it.
Okay, you do not need to do that. And if I have a notation to that, I am going to go through and get rid of all of those. I thought I'd gotten rid of all of them, but thank you for telling me that I did not. In fact, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to double check that I get rid of all the graphic organizer notations.
Okay, thank you.
I thought I did already. That was what you were going to do beforehand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Was that in the roadmap, or was it in the
modules?
In the modules. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I will check that later on today and get rid of all of that. Thank you for that. Okay,
You're
so
welcome.
thank you. Big, yeah, I thought I had really gotten rid of all of them, but apparently I did not. Okay, so for week 10, we have the reflective, we have the social media literature circle instructions, like you saw here. We have the social media literary circle discussion forum. So these are the instructions. This is the discussion forum. I want to go back to the revolutionary writing research. This is I accidentally closed it, but I'm glad that I did because it left room for that question. I'm going to click out as soon as I can. There we go. And I want to explain the research paper. All right, so the overview is just like in the help, writing is used as a method to change society. So too, writing has done this several different instances and continues to do so to this day. In this way, writing is a revolutionary act. Okay. Revolutions begin with ideas, often the written word, not weapons. Some of the most famous speeches are transcribed and printed. These writings can be long and eloquent or short and pointed. What makes writing revolutionary is that it is transformative. These changes can be far-reaching or just within a community. What makes them revolutionary is that they spur people on to break cultural, social, and political norms in order to create meaningful change. Okay, so the key questions are, how does writing instigate a revolution in behavior and/or attitudes? Okay, and which would you argue is the best type of writing for creating meaningful change? So what's going to happen is we have our prompt here, and it really has very different aspects to it. So it's not just a single prompt that you research one single thing. And how you think about it is going to be based on what you're interested in. And so I'm going to give you an example in just a minute. Okay, so you need to look at a time and place in history or currently, it could be now, where writing is or was used to make change. Okay, so you can either look at it first as a time frame, or it could be that you first look at the types of writing used, such as speeches, laws, pamphlets, mainstream newspapers, underground newspapers, leaflets, letters, film, political propaganda, music, or social media, and choose 3 different types to investigate. Okay, so what you're going to do is, based on your investigation within the context, which is the time and the place of the writing, you're going to argue which type of writing seems to be the most impactful and why. So this is a layered research project. Okay, it is not a singular one, it's layered. And so I don't want you to lose out on any of the layers. Okay, so sometimes students will say, I'm really interested in Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. Okay, so they have a type of writing right away. And so that was written in a very specific time, the 1960s. And it's a speech. So we have the time, we have the place in history. It's in the United States, more specifically the South, but it's still overall the United States, if we were going to use it that way. And so you have a speech. You need to find 2 other types of writing, not 2 speeches, but other types of writing, such as a law or a newspaper article. For example, from the time frame that has to deal with civil rights, because Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech is about civil rights. Okay, so you could go to the PCC library online and you could look for civil rights writing 1960s, and a whole bunch of them will come up, and you choose, you have your speech already, and you can choose 2 other different types of writing, and you're going to compare and contrast those types of writing and determine which actually seemed to make the change the most. Was it the speech? Was it the law? Or was it these newspaper articles? Okay? So that's one way to go into the assignment and consider it. The other way is you might say, I am really interested in social media. I am interested in Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, or Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. There's 3 that are happening right now. Out of these 3, okay, and we're looking at a time frame, which one instigates the most change? Okay, so now you have to think about, though, if you are using those 3 different types of writing, you need to think about what kind of change is trying to be made or is being made right now. And so you need to find samples of it, okay? And you'll find the samples, and then you will argue, okay, in the end, Twitter has made the most impact in terms of change for this particular topic, okay? So you're looking at the time and place in history. First, like I just did with the social media, where writing is used to make change. Or it could be that you're like really excited about a particular speech, right? And I gave you the example of the I Have a Dream speech. Now there's many speeches. You could go way back in history and look at the different type. You might have a piece of writing you think has been revolutionary, right? And then you choose 2 other types of writing alongside it, and you investigate it that way. And then at the end, you're going to argue which type of writing seemed to make the most impact. And you may say, like right now, oh, I know, it's Martin Luther Dream's I Have a Dream speech, for sure. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a law, and so you need to really look into it. So you can have ideas of what you think, or you may, with the social media one, oh my gosh, for sure, it's Twitter for sure. But then when you start looking at things, maybe it's not, right? So this is really layered. And so I want you to make sure that the choice that you are choosing is based on something, A, you're interested in, and B, if you have questions, then please ask them so that I can answer them for you, because I've done this assignment for a number of years now, and it's a really great assignment. However, sometimes it scares students a little bit at first. Okay, so before I answer any questions about this, I want to share with you that you are going to be writing just a piece at a time. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, and then we get into 4, and 4 is the project. 1 through 3 are preparation for your project, and number 4 is the project itself. Okay, and you're going to be working on this for the next several weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. So you have a long time, but you need to make sure you're getting each piece done on time. But I have it heavily scaffolded to help you with each part. All right? Any questions about this? Or do you have an idea and you'd like to share it and see if that works? I do want to share with you that the 2 examples I gave you, you are welcome to take those if you would like to. Only if those are interesting to you, not just because, oh, she already decided it, it's easy. All right. All right, so let me ask you, we have talked today about the literature circles assignment, and we have talked about the research project assignment. Do you have any questions about that? Either one. All right. Do you have any other questions for me? All right. So we will stop. I'm going to stop sharing. Kay, I got your email, and I am going to take care of what you asked me to as soon as I end the meeting. And thank you, and we will have at least 2 more meetings in the next several weeks. One about the literature circles and one about revolutionary writing, or we could do both. We could do a little bit of each one, you know, half an hour dedicated to either one. All right, take care. Thank you, guys. I will send you the video as soon as I get it and can upload it to YouTube. Have a wonderful